Hello, guys. I hope you are still enjoying this 30-day happiness experience. You're growing, you're expanding, you're taking these tools that you are learning from the experts, and you're actually applying them into your life. Today, I have with me Elizabeth Roberts. Elizabeth is an encourager at her very core. Her books, courses, and consulting reflects this as she walks you through the journey and keeps you motivated to keep taking the next step to live in truth. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Hi, Stacy. How are you?
Good. So, we have been keeping this theme of keeping this really short for all these busy women, and I know you know what that's like because you are a very busy woman. So, tell me, what does happiness mean to you?
Oh my goodness. Happiness to me just means enjoying life. Whatever that life looks like, wherever you are, I really believe that you can be happy no matter what. You can be happy in the grocery store line. So happiness to me is really just a state of mind and a state of being.
I agree completely. And I more now experiencing this in this journey, really seeing it, know that each moment we get to choose how we are going to respond and if we're going to be happy and what we're going to be happy for. Are we happy that we do have a house? Are we happy that we are in a, you know, state of being that expands, or are we going to be like, oh, I don't like the house I live in, I want a different house, or I want a different relationship? So it's really getting really clear to me that happiness is in the moment, a state of being. So can you tell me what tips and tools you have brought with you today to help us to reconnect to that inner most divine self?
So one of the things that I'm really, really passionate about is listening. And a lot of people think of listening as this skill that we were taught in school. Sit down and be quiet and, listen to your teacher. We got it wrong in school. I think listening is far deeper than that. So my tools in my toolbox have to do with listening and what that really, truly means. And it means getting present. It means truly being in that moment, just like you were talking about, Stacy, those decisions that we make in every single moment to be happy. If we listen to what's going on in our bodies and in our minds and everything that's happening in our surroundings, we can see that the happiness is actually already there. It's already there. We just need to listen for it. So those are the tools in my quiver. It's the slowing down of life and taking in those moments, being present, so we can be available to what's around us.
Is there an actual physical technique that we can use to implement that?
Yes, in one of the books that I wrote, I actually go into, how do you really become present? In our society today, we're so filled with all these distractions. We have our phone constantly going off. We've got the text message, the Facebook updates, oh gosh, you name it. Somebody knocking in on the door at work. We have all these distractions. So how do
Monday
you
night to the Monday night series, the Tuesday night series, the Wednesday night series, all the shows that I have to watch, I can't miss. Yes, we are so inundated with constant doing.
Absolutely, and it's clouding us, right? We have so much on our minds, we forget, how to bring it back, in a present time. So I go very simply and I say, okay, just breathe. Just take a minute and to just be aware that you're frenzied up, because you get that sense. You're like, oh my gosh, I could do this, I gotta do that, and you're in that mode, and then suddenly you're like, wait a minute, do I need to be here? Do I need to be that frantic? And those are the moments where I just sit back and I go, okay, hold on. And I take that very deep breath. Now let it out on purpose. You got to do it on purpose. It's not rushed. And you'll immediately feel all the chatter from here. It drops away and you get into your heart a little bit more and you feel so much more connected. When you're in that space, everything then becomes available to you. You can hear with much greater clarity, and you can, so much of listening, as we've been taught over the years, is so much nonverbal. Well, you can't hear the nonverbal if you're not in the heart, because that's where the heart connection comes in. So just that 30 seconds of, okay, I'm frenzied, brings it right back into perspective and gets you right back into the present moment.
So I want to know, the people that are watching, did you actually take a breath? Because I did. I felt myself like taking a breath with you and kind of centering. And before you do any kind of meditation or before you do any kind of like relaxation, that's the first thing you do is you breathe and you start to focus on your breath and you bring all your intention inward. So I can see where using this tool is grounding you and connecting you back.
It's so interesting. It's a natural tendency we have anyway. Whenever we're panicky or anything like that, the natural tendency is to take a breath, and it's because it centers us and it brings us right back into the present moment. So I'm just telling people, do it on purpose. Hey, we know it works. Just do it on purpose.
Yeah. So would you share one more tool with us that you have to actually just bring us back to that like inner calm state?
To the inner calm state, one of my very favorite things to do is to be curious like a child. I know that it sounds kind of weird, but there's something about being childlike that just brings you to the present moment, right? You have a little one at home and you know how into everything she is, but she's so very present in that. And she's so focused on, just the every little detail of that toy, right? And it's because of that curiosity, she's able to learn and absorb everything she can about that toy. So being curious like a child is another absolutely wonderful way to get present and centered.
Beautiful. And it's divinely timed because we also have had the inner child work with Camila earlier in this 30-day experience. And so she is talking about the same thing, getting that curiosity going, getting into that childlike state. Awesome.
It's so relevant to everything. I mean, if you're not curious, then, what's the point, really? And honestly, being present and curiosity are two of the pillars of being able to hear and listen effectively. So if you're not curious, you don't want to even hear what's happening. So that curiosity is so crucial in so many areas of our life.
Elizabeth, can you tell me how using these techniques has actually improved your life?
Oh my goodness, in so many different ways. So being present in itself is it's a stress reducer. On top of me being able to understand what people are telling me, it reduces my stress. It makes me, it grounds me. So it's really changed my life and made a huge impact there. But also the ability to hear other people, especially doing what we do, that's our job. We have to hear other people. We have to be able to connect with them. But it's not just us. We just happen to do that every day on purpose. I think if everybody begins to listen to one another, it changes the dynamics of relationships. It changes who you are as a person. It makes you more compassionate. It opens up so many doors of happiness to you because you're starting to make those genuine connections with other people. And when you can make a genuine connection with somebody, the sky's the limit. I'm sure you felt it like when you're first falling in love, right? You're there and you're connected to them, and it's because you're present and you're curious and you're hearing absolutely everything that they have to say. good, bad, or indifferent. You hear it and you love it. So I think, that's really the life-changing possibilities that this really has. At least it has for me.
So it's so interesting that this just happened, because right before our call, I had another thing that I'm doing, that I'm participating in, and my husband called me, and instead of stopping what I was doing and being present with him, because he was on his way home from work, I was like, oh, I gotta let you go. I'm doing this other thing that could have waited. And then I felt like I just missed an opportunity to like connect with my husband and listen to what he had to say and to listen to what was going on. So obviously that making a choice and being present and sharing an opportunity to connect, is really important. And I hear what you're saying, like listening to that other person. I think that once we get into a relationship, it's so easy to just like take it for granted and just do what you need to do and forget that we need to connect in that way in the beginning of curiosity and being open and wanting to listen to what our partner has to say.
It's really interesting. We do that. It's human nature. It's a comfort zone thing. You think you know the person like the back of your hand, right? As soon as you get married, you're like, oh, I know you, I gotcha. But especially as women, what's our biggest complaint? Nobody ever listens to me. My husband just doesn't listen to me. And I tell my clients all the time, well, if you don't think he's listening to you, are you giving him an example of what that really looks like?
This is 100% our ongoing theme. You don't ever hear what I'm saying. I told you this. I told you that was going to happen, or I told you I was going there. And he says, no, you don't. So I definitely need to look at myself and see where I'm not listening, because I'm sure that I'm not listening if he is repeating the same thing back to me.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of, if you want something, you first have to be the leader and the example of it, so other people can learn what that looks like to you. We can't expect somebody to do something that we ourselves aren't willing to do.
Yeah, awesome.
So it's really amazing how much I catch myself at times just busy in my head. I'm trying to make up the entire scenario. I've got my little judgments going on over here, and I catch myself and I'm like, you're not really listening. You're having your own conversation. This is a conversation between you and you, not you and them. So there's a mismatch here. And when I'm able to drop away from that and get out of my own head, I hear answers that they're giving me that I've wanted from them for like months. Oh, that's what you've been meaning to tell me this whole time. Oh, I get it now. And it's all because I got out of my own head and I really started paying attention. I got curious and I was in the moment with them.
That is beautiful. I love this. And I think that so many people can apply this, not to just romantic relationships, but any relationship, a coworker relationship. If you're the boss and you have employees, actually listening to what your employees have to say to you.
Oh, huge.
Family dynamic relationships and listening to what your family members are saying to you or your children are saying to you. This is such a beautiful, important skill that we need, is to actually listen within and then listen to who we're speaking with.
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest things that we can do is get back to the basics of listening and really think about it on a level that we haven't thought about it before. Because without listening, we don't even know who we are. One of the things that comes to mind for me is, growing up, I never felt heard. I grew up in an entrepreneur family, which was fantastic. I learned a lot of wonderful skills. But, there were a lot of times where my parents, they were busy. They were very busy and they had a lot going on. So they didn't really take the time to truly, truly listen. So I think as children, we have a natural tendency to want to please our parents. So when we don't feel heard, we do things to get their attention, right? And to please them. And that goes forward into our adult lives. And that's how we've all been trained. We didn't feel heard as a child, so we put on a mask or we do things to compensate for that. So I think this really, truly does go into so many different areas of our life. If we can learn to listen to our children at a very young age, it supports them to becoming who they're really supposed to become. They don't have to then put on that mask. They can learn how to listen to themselves. They won't have to go through this reprogramming that we're talking about right now and redefining listening. So I think this is very, very important, just as for us as human beings, so we can find out who we are.
So it's so beautiful, and something that I really need to be aware of, as I am an entrepreneur and my daughter is 2 years old, or she'll be 2 in July. And those days when I'm really focused on my business and not really listening to what she is saying or needs. So definitely getting me to think about where I need to be more attentive to listening, even to the smallest members in my family.
They all have a voice. They all want to feel heard. I think we all have that. That's just a human need we have, to feel heard. There's nothing worse than feeling like nobody understands me, or nobody gets me, or nobody's there for me. And, it just boils down to, do you have another human in your life that can be present with you? And that's really all it takes.
Elizabeth, I love this, and I think that you provided some beautiful tips and techniques. I know that you have a free gift for the listeners. Can you just share a little bit about that?
So the free gift I have for all of you is something that I put together that's pretty near and dear to my heart. It goes into authentic living and what that means and what that looks like. And it will actually give you practical steps for you to go through to discover, okay, at my very core, who am I and how can I walk that out? And I think you'll really enjoy it.
Awesome. So we will be posting the link below, and you will be finding more about Elizabeth in the section below. And if you are called to work with Elizabeth, you can go ahead and click that free gift and experience more of what she has to offer. Elizabeth, thank you for being here and sharing your wisdom with us.
Thank you, Stacy, so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.